Hi, I'm Ellen from the Chili Dog. Today I'm going to show you how to do the Norwegian purl. It can be a more comfortable way to form purl stitches for continental knitters because it minimizes the movement and stress on the left hand. I'll be demonstrating the Norwegian purl two different ways. First, by tensioning my yarn the way many continental knitters are accustomed, with an extended index finger. Then I'll demonstrate with a more Norwegian pinched left hand grip. Let's get started. The problem continental style knitters face when purling is that in order to wrap the yarn counterclockwise around the right hand needle so that the stitch has a conventional stitch mount, there needs to be some sort of awkward motion made with the left hand. There are a lot of variations to this, but usually it either means the middle finger comes forward to push the yarn down, or the yarn can be pushed down with the index finger so that the stitch can be pulled through and then dropped off. When you're working just a few stitches, it doesn't seem like a big deal. Over time, that awkward repetitive finger motion can lead to tendonitis and pain in your hands. The Norwegian purl eliminates the need for that odd left-hand finger motion. Instead, your right hand is going to do a fluid little flourish. When you Norwegian purl, there's no need to bring your working yarn forward. It's going to stay at the back. And your left hand will remain fairly stable throughout the formation of the stitch. The right hand needle goes behind the working yarn and then through the next stitch purlwise. Now you rotate the tip of the right needle back, 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 back over the working yarn until the yarn is wrapped counterclockwise around the right needle tip, and then reverse that motion and bring the needle tip forward, 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 and through the stitch, and drop it off your left needle. And let me show you that motion one more time. The right needle goes behind the working yarn and through the next stitch purlwise. Rotate the tip of the needle back, 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 and over the working yarn. Then reverse the rotation and pull the working yarn forward and through the stitch and drop it off your left needle. A word of warning though, if you forget to start with your right needle behind the working yarn and instead you have your right needle in front of the working yarn when you insert it into that next purl stitch, you can still go through the motion and rotate the tip of the needle back over the working yarn so that it's wrapped counterclockwise around the knitting needle, and then reverse it and bring the tip forward and through your stitch. But you end up with an extra yarn over here before your purl stitch. A true Norwegian purl isn't just about that fancy right hand flourish. It's also about maintaining a more comfortable pinched grip with your left hand instead of having an outstretched index finger. Your working yarn just goes over the tip of your index finger and then underneath your middle finger. If for some reason your index finger starts to float up and away from your needle, you simply pull on your working yarn and it drops your index finger back into place. The right hand motion for the Norwegian purl is going to be exactly the same as we saw before. The right hand needle tip goes behind the working yarn and through the next stitch purlwise. Rotate the tip of the needle back, 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 and over the working yarn, around, and the working yarn is wrapped counterclockwise around the right needle tip, and then reverse that rotation and bring the right needle tip forward and then down through the stitch and drop it off your needle. Let me show you one more time. The right needle tip goes behind the working yarn and through the next stitch purlwise. Rotate the needle tip back, 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 back over the working yarn so that the working yarn is wrapped counterclockwise around the right needle, and then reverse the rotation, bringing the needle tip forward and then down through the stitch and dropping it off the left needle. Again, if you forget to start with your right needle behind the working yarn and instead it's in front of the working yarn as you insert to purl, you're still going to be able to make the Norwegian purl motion with your right hand, reversing the needle back over the working yarn, forward and through the stitch. And unfortunately, when you do that, you end up with this extra yarn over right here before your purl stitch. I hope you enjoyed learning how to do the Norwegian purl. If you did, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel, The Chili Dog, for more knitting tips and tutorials. Until we stitch again, happy knitting!